Let's change this boring HTML table to something like creative, beautiful table. What if I say, let's take it to the next level, something like this. Today, in this video, we are going to build responsive HTML table with pure CSS. So we won't be using any kind of CSS framework, something like Bootstrap, Tailwind, or anything else. With just pure CSS, we are going to create this responsive HTML table. Without further ado, let's start. Hello and namaste everyone, this is Jitsaru with CodingDesign. Welcome to our channel. If you are new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's create index.html file. Inside that, if I type !sign and hit that tab button, then you will get this HTML5 boilerplate. For the title, let's give responsive HTML table with pure CSS, and also let's add web design / UI design. Inside the body tag, let's create main element with class name table. Inside that, let's create two sections, and for the first section, let's give the class name table header, and for the second section, let's give the class name table body. Inside the first section, let's create H1 heading, and I am writing customers orders. Now inside the second section, let's create table. Inside that, let's create table heading. Inside that table heading, let's create table row. Inside that row, let's create different table headings. Okay, so inside the th, for the first heading, let's give id. Now let's duplicate it for more 5 times, and for the second heading, let's give customer. For the third heading, I'm giving location. For the fourth heading, I'm giving order date. For the fifth heading, let's give status. For the sixth heading, let's give amount. So these are the headings that I'm giving for this table. Now it's time to give the table data. So inside the table body, let's create one more table row. Inside that, now let's create table data. I'm creating 6 table data, so I'm writing *6, and if I hit tab button, then you will get this code. Now for the first data, let's give 1 as id, and for the second data, first of all, let's give the image of customer. So I'm giving image tag with source images / I'm giving this image. So as you can see, in the same folder, I do have folder name images, and inside that folder there are multiple images. So these are the customers images, and next to that image, let's give the customer name. For the third data, which is the location, so let's give the location. Okay, for the fourth data, you can give the order date. For the fifth data, inside the paragraph tag, I'm giving delivered, which is the status. And for the amount, let's give $128.90. so this is the first data that I'm giving for this table. Now let's save the file, and with the help of live server extension, let's open this index.html file in our default browser. In the browser, you can see this is the result. So now let's create a style.css file, and just below the title tag, let's give the link for our style.css file. Now inside the style.css file, in order to prevent the browser's default margin and padding, for the universal selector, I'm giving margin and padding 0, box size into border box. Similarly, for the font family, let's give sans serif. So in the browser, you can see there is some changes. As you can see, that customer image is really huge. So before giving any CSS property for order elements, first of all, let's give proper height and width for that customer image. So let's style the image which is within the table data. For the image, I'm giving width and height of 36 pixels. And also let's keep some margin between the customer name and the image. For that, I'm giving margin right of 0.5 rem. You can see there is some gap between the image and the customer name. And also let's give the border radius of 50% so that it would make circle shape. Similarly, let's give vertical align to middle. So now you can see, with the help of that code, the customer image and the customer name, they are now aligned properly. Now let's bring this all content at the center of your browser. For that, for the body, let's give the minimum height of 100 VH. And also let's give display flex. With the help of this justify content to center, I'm bringing my content horizontally center, and in order to bring vertically center, let's give align items to center. Now you can see there is no any proper space between the table's data. So now for the table heading and for the table data, I'm giving padding 1 rem. Now you can see there is proper space. Now let's style that main with class name table. So for the class table, let's give the width. For the width, I'm giving 82 VW. For the height, let's give 90 VH. For the background color, let's give this white color with some transparent value. Now you won't be able to see that background color. So for the body, let's give the background image. I'm giving URL, let's give images/html table.jpg. I'm using background shorthand property, so in the same line, I'm giving background position to center / and I'm giving background size to cover. Now you can see that table with white transparent color, and I want to add Glassmorphism effect. So it is really necessary to give background color with transparent value. And let's give background drop filter. I'm giving blur value to 7 pixel. Now in the browser you can see behind that table you will get that blurry image which will create kind of glassy effect. And also let's give the box shadow. For the X offset I'm giving 0. For the Y offset 0.4 rem. For the spread value let's give 0.8 rem. For the color I'm giving color with some transparent value. And also let's give border radius of 0.8 rem. Now in the browser you can see rounded corners around the table with some shadow. As you can see, table's content it is overflowing. So now for the class table, let's give overflow to hidden. Now let's style these two sections with class name table header and table body. So for the class table header, let's give the width of 100%. For the height I'm giving 10%. Let's give the background color. I'm giving white color with some transparent value. Similarly, let's give the padding. For the top and bottom, I'm giving 0.8 rem. For the left and right, I'm giving 1 rem. Similarly, now let's style the section with class name table body. For the class table body, I'm giving width of 95%. Similarly, for the maximum height, let's give 89%. And also let's give background color. For the background color, I'm again giving white color with some transparent value. Now let's take it to the center. So for that, I'm giving margin top and bottom to 8 rem, and for the left and right auto. But now you can see for the margin top and bottom I'm giving 0.8 rem. That value will affect our height. So in order to prevent that, with the help of calc function, let's subtract this 0.8 rem from that 89%. Similarly, let's give the border radius. For the border radius I'm giving 0.6 rem. Again you can see our content that is overflowing. So for the overflow I'm giving auto. Now you will be able to see that scroll bar. Let's create custom scroll bar. So for that, for the section with class name table body, let's give the pseudo element the scroll bar. This property is not supported by all the versions of browser. So all versions of browser it may not support, and I'm giving the prefix WebKit scroll bar. So now for the scroll bar, let's give the width and height of 0.5 rem. Let's select this code and let's duplicate it. Now for the scroll bar thumb, instead of this height and width, let's give border radius of 0.5 rem. And for the background color, I'm giving this black color with some transparent value. In the browser you can see, now you will be able to get your custom scroll bar. Initially, let's hide this scroll bar. For that I'm giving visibility to hidden. Let's duplicate the same code and let's take it down. Now when you hover that body of table, at that time let's duplicate the same visibility code and let's take it down. Now instead of hiding that scroll bar, we will display that scroll bar. Okay, so for that let's give visibility to visible. Now in the browser you can see when you hover the table you will get that scroll bar. This is what I want. Now let's style this table heading, table rows. Okay, so now for the table let's give the width of 100%. Similarly, now let's style the table heading. So for the th, let's give the position to sticky, and I'm giving top and left value to 0. So in the browser you can see when you scroll you will get that sticky table heading, but you will see a kind of overlapping text. In order to prevent that, let's give background color. For the background color, again I'm giving this light gray color. And also you can see you will get that kind of border around those headings. It's because by default browser they do provide some kind of border around table. So in order to prevent that, for the table heading and table data, let's give border collapse. I'm giving collapse. So in the browser now you won't be able to see that border around the table and other elements. Okay, I want to show you why I'm giving position sticky for that table heading. So for that I need to create more table data. In order to create more table data, to save some time, I have already prepared this code. So now let's copy this code and let's paste it there. Now nothing much more is going on. I have just changed the customers images, names and other data values. So now in the browser you can see whenever you are scrolling you will get that sticky table heading. So that is the reason why I have kept their position sticky for that table heading. Now let's create zebra strip table. So for that, for the table data, I'm using pseudo class nth child and I'm passing even. Let's give background color black color with transparent value. So now with the help of this code, for each table data which is in even position, for all those data I'm giving background color of this black color with transparent value. Now in the browser you can see you will get that zebra strip table. Now when you hover the table row which is inside the table body, at that time let's give the background color, I'm giving white color with some transparent value. So in the browser you can see when you take your mouse near to these table rows you will get that bright color. Okay, I have forgot to give the strong tag for that amount. So for the first data, for amount let's give strong and inside that strong tag let's pass that price. Okay, now in the browser you will get that bold text. Now it's time to give some different indicator for different status. So for the different status I'll be giving different class name. So for the first status which is the delivered, for that paragraph tag let's give the class status and also let's give delivered. Now let's style this class status. For the class status, for now let's give background color of red, but later on we'll remove this color. Okay, and for the padding let's give top and bottom 2.4 rem and for the left and right I'm giving 0. Similarly let's give the border radius of 2 rem. In the browser you can see you will get a kind of pales. Now let's remove this background color. Now for the class status with class delivered, as you can see for the class status along with that I have given their class delivered. So for the class delivered let's give the background color of light green color and for the text color let's give this dark green color. Now in the browser you can see this kind of effect. Now for the status of second data which is cancel, let's give again class of status and along with that I am giving another class cancelled. So now let's style that class cancel. So now for the class cancel, let's select this code and let's duplicate it and take it down. Let's change that background color to light red color and for the text color let's give dark red color. Now in the browser you can see delivered and the cancel status. Now once again, in order to save some time, again I am copying this code and pasting there. So nothing much more is going on. Again I have just given different class for different status. So now let's style this different status. Let's select this code and let's duplicate it. Now for the class pending, let's remove this text color and for the background color let's give this dark yellow color. Once again let's select this code and duplicate it. Now for the class saved, let's give background color of sky blue color. So now in the browser you can see I'm giving different indicator for different status, but if you have noticed there, whenever your screen size is really small, at that time data of table they are squeezed. So let's give some little room of space. So for that let's use media query. Okay, I'm writing at media and I'm giving maximum width to 1000 pixel. So when your screen is with the maximum width of 1000 pixel at that time for the table data, so this table data, okay, and I don't want to apply that CSS property for the first table data which is the ID. So I'm using not pseudo class and inside that I'm passing pseudo class first of type. And now for the table data, except the first table data, I'm giving minimum width of 12.1 rem. Now in the browser you can see whenever you are in a small screen, now you'll be able to get that table data with much more space and gap. But I have noticed there that the table heading they are aligned at center. So now for table heading and table data, let's give the text aligned to left. Similarly for the class status, let's give text aligned to center. Now let's take this browser to the full screen by pressing F11 key. Now what if I add more data to the table? So let's select the same code and let's duplicate it. and in the browser you can see you'll be able to scroll, but if you have noticed there at the bottom there's very little gap. So I think I have done some mistake there. So for the class table body, did you see that for the maximum height we have done there some calculations, and I have subtract 0.8 rem. That 0.8 rem, that value was the top and bottom value. In total that makes 1.6 rem. So now I have to subtract that 1.6 rem from 89%. Now once again in the browser you can see now you are getting proper gap at the bottom. So this is exactly what I want. And also when you are scrolling you will get that sticky table heading, but when you are scrolling horizontally at that time you will get that weird effect. But if you don't want to give that kind of effect, what you can do is that you can comment out that left 0, okay, and you won't be able to get that effect, but I'll keep it the same. So let me know in the comment box, did you love this HTML table UI design or not? Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did learn something, smash that like button. If you have any kind of queries, let me know in the comment box. Share this video if you think someone needs it, and also if you haven't already hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell icon. Remember, there is always more to learn, so keep learning.